Welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Book Digest. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful and practical summary of Made to Stick by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. We're going to figure out why some ideas go viral and totally change the world, while others, well, they just fizzle out.
You know, this Mark Twain quote just hits home, doesn't it? It feels like we're swimming in this stuff every day. Bizarre urban legends, crazy conspiracy theories, they spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, really important, life-saving information struggles to even get noticed. This is all about why that happens.
So, what's the secret sauce? It's not just about being true, or even being important. Turns out, there's this hidden set of qualities that make an idea sticky, that let it burrow into our brains and just stay there. So what we're going to do is basically reverse engineer those qualities and find the formula.
But before we can find the solution, we have to talk about the main villain, the thing that stops our best ideas from landing. There's this one incredibly powerful cognitive trap that sabotages us over and over again, and it's called the curse of knowledge. Just think about it for a second. Once you know something, it feels obvious, right? You totally forget the feeling of not knowing it, and that's the curse. It creates this invisible wall between you and your audience, and it's the reason so much communication just completely fails.
Okay, there's this simple experiment that shows this perfectly. Imagine I ask you to tap out the rhythm of a song everyone knows, something like Happy Birthday. As you're tapping away, you can hear the whole song in your head, the music, the words, everything. To you, it couldn't be more obvious what you're tapping. But here's the kicker. The people doing the tapping, they were sure at least half the listeners would get the song. The actual success rate? 2.5%. Only 1 person in 40 got it right. For everyone else, it was just a bunch of random noise. That massive gap, the gap between what the tapper heard and what the listener heard, that is the curse of knowledge in action. So, how do we break the curse? How do we get our audience to hear the beautiful melody instead of just random tapping? Well, the book gives us a prescription, a really powerful 6-part framework designed to make pretty much any idea sticky. And here it is. The acronym is SUS, with 2 S's at the end. Simple, unexpected, concrete, credible, emotional, and stories. Now, this isn't some magic formula, but it's an incredibly effective checklist to make sure your message actually gets through.
So, let's take a look at each one of these principles in action. This is where we move from the theory to the real, practical tools you can start using like today.
Okay, first up is simple. And this is so important. It doesn't mean dumbing it down or coming up with some cheesy one-liner. It means stripping an idea down to its absolute most essential core.
A perfect example of this is a military concept called commander's intent. See, instead of giving a team a super detailed 100-step plan that could fall apart at any moment, a commander gives them the one single most important goal, the core mission. That way, even when the plan goes haywire, everyone can still improvise and make decisions that serve that one simple, central idea.
But hey, even the simplest idea in the world won't stick if no one's listening. And that's where our next principle comes in. To grab someone's attention in our super noisy world, you have to be unexpected.
Our brains are basically pattern-matching machines, right? So they only really snap to attention when a pattern gets broken. But just getting attention isn't enough. You gotta hold on to it. And you do that by creating what the book calls a curiosity gap. You pose a question or a little mystery that the listener just feels compelled to see solved. You make them want the answer before you give it to them.
So, once you have their attention, your idea needs to be concrete. This is the direct antidote to all that vague, abstract expert speak that the curse of knowledge loves so much. Abstract language is like smoke. It's impossible to grab onto. Concrete language gives our brains handles to hold.
Just look at this quote from JFK. He didn't use some abstract goal like achieve spacefaring superiority. No way. He painted a picture so concrete that anyone, from a scientist to a janitor, could see it. Put a man on the moon and bring him back safely, all before the decade is out. Every single word creates a solid, unforgettable image.
Okay, so you have a simple, unexpected, and concrete idea. Awesome. But why should anyone actually believe you? That brings us to our 4th principle, making your idea credible. And credibility doesn't always have to come from quoting a bunch of experts. The book talks about this brilliant idea called the Sinatra test, from the song New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
If you can prove your idea works in the most extreme, difficult case imaginable, people won't doubt for a second that it can work for them.
But even a credible idea won't get people to act unless they care. Belief just isn't enough. You have to make them feel something. And that's the power of the fifth principle, making it emotional.
This quote from Mother Teresa just nails how our emotions work. We really struggle to connect with abstract stats about millions of people in need, but we feel so deeply for one, single, identifiable person. It's why charities always tell the story of one child, not the story of a statistic. To make people care, you appeal to the one, not the mass.
So how do you combine simplicity and emotion and credibility all into one powerful package? Well, that brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful principle of them all: stories. A great story is the ultimate delivery vehicle for a sticky idea.
The authors describe stories as a kind of mental flight simulator. It's brilliant. When we hear a really compelling story, our brains actually run a simulation. We rehearse the choices. We feel the emotions. It basically prepares us for how to act when we face a similar situation down the road. A good story doesn't just tell us what to do, it gives us the knowledge and the motivation to actually go out and do it.
So let's pull all this together. The success framework isn't just a bunch of clever communication tricks. It's a real, reliable toolkit for fighting back against that pesky curse of knowledge and making sure your ideas actually make an impact.
And this, right here, might be the most important takeaway of the whole thing. Making an idea stick isn't some magical gift that only a few creative geniuses are born with. It's a skill, it's a process, and it's built on a set of principles that anyone, and I mean anyone, including you, can learn and apply. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What's the one important idea that you need to get across? Maybe to your team, your customers, your family, or even the whole world. How can you use these principles to make that idea stick?